Charlie doesn't surf, but Jesus does. Take one. Long time ago when I was a kid, I was swimming out in the Atlantic Ocean in Europe, Belgium, and or by Belgium. And I was a pretty good swimmer, and maybe I was 10 years old, and I got pulled out pretty far away from the shoreline, and I got tired, and I went under the water. And I went under a couple feet because I was just, struggling. And I opened my eyes and looked up, and the sun was shining through the water, and I thought, that looks pretty neat. Second thought that came to my mind was, don't struggle, relax, don't panic, float. Because I used to float a lot when I was at the swimming pool learning how to swim. I could do that for a long time. I'm like, I'll just float. There was a peaceful voice inside my mind and heart. And I did that, floated, and the tide brought me into the shoreline. It took a while, but I just floated. And it was because of that voice inside of me. That's the voice of God. When you hear something that's outside of your skill set, outside of the way you should be operating, and it's something really good, my opinion, that's God. And for surfing, I love surfing. Never been surfing. Been out on the ocean, did the body surfing. That was fun. But did some skateboarding, which meant I just fell off a skateboard a couple times. That was it. But I always admired how you would get out on the board, you would find the wave, you'd have to get up on the wave a little bit, and then hop up on your board, and then ride that wave, and just kind of navigate on it, not manipulating it, following it into the shoreline, and then doing whatever you could on that wave. With following Jesus, it's a lot like that. When you're just getting to know God, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, and you're on the board. You're just getting out there into the Spirit, into the realm of the Spirit. And you sit and you learn, and you learn the presence of God, the Word of God, and just living, knowing God. And then eventually He starts to move in our life, and we follow after Him. And we, it's that surfboard. It is when you're doing good, you can feel Him moving, and you go with Him, and you hop on, and you follow His Spirit, and then you let Him navigate you to where He wants you to go. And the cool thing is, you're allowed to play in that wave with God and on God. You're on the Spirit, in the emotions and the intellect. You're able to interact with God. And as long as it's biblical, you could have some fun. And, including surfing, rock climbing, motorcycles, washing the dishes, math, who knows, whatever your gig is, you can engage God there. And if you crash and burn and get tubed, that's pretty much when you fall into the lust of the flesh. There's three things to watch out so you don't get tubed. Is lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, pride of life. And, it's like surfing, yeah? You don't drown. God will God's the lifeguard as well. He'll get you up out of your problems if you let Him. He'll bring you out of whatever it is that got you tubed, whether it's an addiction or a tendency you can't shake or an attitude. You get back to floating. You don't panic. Let Him bring you into the shoreline, into His presence, and then you don't quit. You move on. You get better. So Charlie don't surf, but Jesus does. You can too. Catch your wave with Jesus. Aloha, dudes.